accessible. It used to be very extreme because the kite and technology back then was very basic. So now the industry involved a lot as far as safety, easy, much more friendly users than it used to be before. So we don't see those dramas, those accidents, and those extreme conditions. Kiteboarding is no longer an extreme sport like you could have seen in the past. It's much more accessible to everybody. We actually teach kids from 8 years old up to people to 72 years old. We've been teaching people 70 and older, so it's definitely accessible. Our main role in here, we're here to talk about the accessibility of the sport to everybody. And me, I'm French, as you can hear. Everybody speaks French, right? Of course. So anyway, I will show you a couple of videos in here. I think it's very interesting to see. You were just talking about, Jerry, about determination of what people in here can do. It's pretty amazing. When I came in here with my boat earlier and see all those people sailing and the achievement they come up with their abilities or not, it's always struck me. So even though we're part of the extreme sport, but I think more extreme determination in here that I can see out there with us, with able people. So I'm very respectful for that, and I think there is definitely an access for that sport. The video I show will prove it. In France, a few people with disabilities on a wheelchair have stepped up and pushed the determination to customize their own equipment, and I show you what they did as far as the technical aspect of it. And then the kitesurf, the jump, like all of us, and it's very famous in France. But there is also a local kiteboarder here in Florida that have different disabilities, and they get into the sport. So we're here to show you a couple of videos so you have a visual idea of what we talk about. And then after we'll do a demonstration on the water. And then this is Lenny Baxter, my head coach at Miami Kiteboarding. She's a very high-end instructor, qualified as well. And she will talk to you about the local kiteboarder as well that we have in here. And she will be explaining the sport as I'm practicing later on. She will be talking to you about that in better English than me, of course. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of videos. I hope the connection stays on. And I will start with this website of this French guy in a wheelchair who kitesurf every windy day in the south of France. I don't know if you can see very well. Yes.
Do me a favor. Can you grab my iPad and film? Thanks.
Okay. I can't go bigger than that. TV, the screen is a little bit dark. But this is basically the prototype. Those guys put engineering in that thing for many years, and they came up with that. I don't know if you can see here very well. This is a guy in here, and he has his board. So it's a regular kitesurfing board, a kiteboard, and they came up with that type of seat in here, well as an articulation, and allowed to keep stability and also to handle the jumps, the vibrations. So it's not it's tailored for the person to be comfortable on it and keep his balance. And it's also tailored. The research at the point that the board, when the kiteboarder capsizes, how the board will automatically come on the side. So he always has his heads up, because one of the main issues with kiteboard water sport, which we don't think of, is when you are only on a support and strapped on it. If you capsize, what are the safety behind it and the risk involved? So that was one of the main things in here. So I don't know how well you can see, but that's so they hire a firm of engineers. They worked on that, and they hire a firm of composite, and they customize that system. And now he is on the point of he wants to franchise and develop a regular production type of board for people with disabilities. So they did some trial on simulator on the water, on like, how do you call it, on swimming pool.
It's like an artificial wave pool where they push water and it simulates the actual flow of water. So these type of pools actually simulate water without being in the risk of being in the open ocean. So you can test everything in a very safe, controlled environment and do your beta testing. All right, so we also have a local rider riding in the Keys right now. His name is Sean. And Sean has an above-the-knee leg amputation, and he's been fitted with a prosthetic leg. He lost his leg in an accident when he was 19. Had been a very avid wakeboarder, had the accident, once he was fitted with his leg. It took about 2 years of intense physical therapy to get back to where he was. Started kiteboarding, and now with his prosthetic, he's able to do everything and more that a normal kiteboarder does. So I think Sean is better than probably both of us, doing some really, really amazing and impressive things, despite having the amputation. And this is the video of the French.
Let's see what it looks like. For those who never seen kiteboarding, you have the kite, a big kite, which can go from 6 meter to 18 square meter, depending on the wind conditions. And then we have lines, control line of 25 meter, and a control bar in here. That's how we steer the kite. And then by moving the kite into what we call a wind window, the power zone, the kite grabs power, catches the wind, and then after we can use any type of support. Kiteboarding is not only on the water. We use kiteboarding on snow kiting, we call it. We also use a kite on land, because it's land boarding. Kite have been used as well in the sailing industry. If I don't mistaken, the America's Cup, I don't know which team throw a kite opposed to a spinnaker a few years ago in the last America's Cup. Giant kite has been used as well as an experimentation for pulling cargoes, because as an economy saving purposes. So kite can be used with any different support. You can use kite with a surfboard, with a skimboard, with a kneeboard, with a kayak, with a sailboat. We can hook up a kayak on a sailboat, take off the mast. So it's just a different way of harnessing ourselves to the wind, using the wind as a power tool, which we all are sharing together. But that for kiteboarding specificities with the board, for this guy has pushed the engineering and the determination to come up with that. And I'll show you a video of Sean Reynard.
Alright, as Chris said, there's a lot of means to kiteboard or to use the power of the kite. One thing that he left out was power kiting, so handle kiting. If someone maybe doesn't want to get in the water, not quite ready to try the adapted board, we have power kiting, which is also a lot of fun, like playing around, still generating the power and learning how to use the wind. So we're now going to play you a video of Sean. Later this afternoon, after Chris shows you some kiteboarding, he's got his kite, going to ride around. We also have a boat simulator, which we've adapted to specialize in training on just how to get up on the board. A lot of times students learning, they have to focus on the kite and the board, and we find that it's easier to teach them the kite, and then we can take them on the boat and use a specialized boat simulator to teach them how to get up on the board. And the way that we can use it here is using a knee board or a kayak or a paddle board. Still learn how to control the board hooked into a harness, but you don't have to worry about the kite. So it's the same thing. You'll have a harness on, and then that holds the power of the kite. It's attached to the bar and pulls you, as opposed to just having to use all your arm strength. It's really no arm strength at all in kite. Is this Sean right here? So this is Sean riding. And Sean has had, numerous times when he's been in the news, had different documentaries done on him. Just a really, really positive influence in the kiteboarding industry, really pushing the limits, doing everything that everyone else does.
Yeah, Sean started about 5 years ago, and as you can see, this type of prosthesis is holding in here. And it took him 2 years of education to get ready, to reinforce his legs and get ready for that sport. But then quickly he became one of the top riders. He's actually won the longest distance in Florida on the West Coast, from Naples all the way to 40 miles. He was not that far, 30 miles in winter, and he was way ahead of everybody because he has twice less pain than us when he's riding full speed. So everything is completely accessible. And this guy is right there in Florida. He used to live in Boca Raton. He's now living the Keys, and he's 23 years old. That's what brought him. And let me show you another video, the last one, of the handicap again.
While Chris is pulling up the video, does anybody have any questions right now about it? You're going to try it, right?
Oh, no.
I know you are.
What are the limitations with kiteboarding as far as, I don't know, you have to grip onto something, or like if someone doesn't have mobility in their hands, can they do this, or?
With maybe not having mobility in the hands and being able to grip something,
Right.
I believe there are adaptations in what's called power kiting, and power kiting has handles where it also grips onto your wrist. And so you can adapt that in order to control the kite. Now those kites, right now you can't take them in the water, but you can adapt it on land and still generate all of that power with the kite.
You know, if you've had like quadriplegics doing this, balance and that kind of thing, it looks like you need balance for this. I'm seeing mostly like adaptive people, but somebody that, if you've got quadriplegics doing it.
Yeah.
The chair looks like it would work.
Yes, the chair works.
Balance.
Obviously, according to various degrees of disabilities,
Sure.
people know what they can do or not. But for specifically Christopher Martin, that's the name of on a wheelchair, but that's pretty much the rest of the body is working fine. I've been teaching people kiteboarding with what do you call this? Paraplegia on their hand, like half of their hands functioning. Hasn't been a problem. It's just a matter of us finding the teaching method to implement different approaches. And then they adapt very quick, so everybody can do it. Limitation, everybody knows their own limitation of what they can do. The main one sure thing on this sport is the kite is the engine. You need to be able to some sort of control using this control bar and keep this kite and control this kite, steer it wherever you need it. Otherwise it won't work. After the balance, it's something everybody customize on their own.